I introduce myself first. My name is Hui Chen. I'm the dean of the international office at Da-Yeh University, and at the same time, I'm the director of the International Language Center, which is the organizer for this experience sharing section. And we are very grateful that you provide your time and effort to help us with this program.
I'm really excited. I've never done this video or conference with students in Taiwan. So I'm really excited and I'm looking forward. Should I start with telling you a little bit about me so you know whom you're at least listening to?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes. So my name is Uta Beckmann. And I work for the Goethe Institut, and I'm located in Germany, in Munich.
Oh, Munich.
And
okay.
yes, we're separated into a variety of regions around the world. So Taiwan, for example, belongs to our region East Asia. Mm-hmm. And the Goethe Institut in Germany is a region in its own. So if somebody would like to take a German class with the Goethe Institut in Germany, for example, in Berlin or in Munich or in Hamburg, then they will turn to us. And I have been with the Goethe Institut for the past 20 years.
Wow.
And for the first about 10 years, I was actually working at one of our language locations. Mm-hmm. And surprise, surprise, our language school in Munich. Mm. And I switched to our regional headquarters for Germany about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the marketing, sales / customer service department. So whenever a university would like to reach out to us and set up a specific program with the Goethe Institut in Germany, then they will turn to me.
Right.
And this is the reason why I do those conference calls with universities abroad. But I was wondering, has any one of you have you ever been to Germany? If you could raise your hand if you have ever been to Germany. Excellent.
I've been to Germany several times. Ich studiert Deutsch an der Uni.
Oh, which university have you been to?
I've been to, what is it? Is that a oh no, I forgot the name. I've been to several. I went to Trier, and also Essen, and because I have friends, I have German friends, and when I visited them, they lived around universities, Trier and German. I also went to Munich, and
excellent.
Yes, and Freiburg, Stuttgart. So I went to several universities. Yes, and also
so you know German universities quite well.
Not very well, but I'm interested actually.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to know a little bit more about the students' background. So, Are you currently in your a bachelor's program, or is any? I guess most of you or all of you are in a bachelor program.
Yes. Let me introduce these 10 classes here. These students are taking English as a part of their required courses, and most of them are freshmen. And during this section, we have 10 classes. Approximately 400 students are on this online program here now currently, and we got students from 7 colleges. We got foreign language, tourism and hospitality, management, arts and science, bioresources, nursing, and also engineering. So it's
it's a mix of students then.
Yes.
But none of you have ever taken any German classes before, have you?
We do have, not for this year, but we do open German credit courses at our International Language Center.
Because if you would like, if
Yes.
if your students would like to go to a German university, bachelor's programs for the most part are held in German only. Only when it comes to master's programs, there are a number, and the number is actually rising, a number of English taught classes. So if you would like to go to Germany, maybe just for a semester or for a degree program, a master's program, it is essential to speak German.
Okay.
Even if it's an English taught program, because a master's program can last for a number of years. So being at the university, being in class, talking to your professor, handing in papers, doing exams, that'll be done in English. But once you step out of your classroom, if you would like to make friends, socialize in general, and feel at home in a foreign country, it's really, really important that you speak the language.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And we usually recommend starting German while you're still in your home country.
Right.
And then doing the remaining parts later on once you're in Germany. And I think, well, actually, if you do immersion in Germany, it's a little bit quicker, of course. But doing German classes while you're still at home, taking maybe a class per week or so, is really, really helpful, because you can get familiar with the language and then the cultural aspect and everything before you actually come to Germany. Are you familiar with the offerings of the German Academic Exchange Program? Because what I wanted to start with is something that might be really, really interesting to you. And because the German Academic Exchange Program has an information side. The link is studyingermany.de, and you can get all the necessary information about Germany and about German about classes and programs that you can take at a German university.
Okay,
See
good.
here?
Thank you.
Because I think this is an excellent start. You get information about Germany, German culture, the way we tick, about language classes, for example, at the Goethe Institut, about traditions. There are a couple of examples here about traditions in Germany, about German food, about German cities. And you can also hear students talking about their experience before they came to Germany and while being a bachelor or a master's student at a German university. Okay. And then information about the various regions in Germany. So I think this is always an excellent start to get yourself familiar. And in Germany, when students, well, let's see how I can put this. The program should be your focal point. So I would like to study hospitality. I would like to study civil engineering and so forth. And then you can look up the programs at specific universities, technical universities or universities of applied science. And then you have, because a lot of German students think, oh, I want to go to Berlin, so what should I study? You know, for the most part, I want to go to Berlin. But I think the focal point should always be your subject.
Okay.
And the great thing that the German Academic Exchange Service does is you can always look up the programs. And let's see where they put this. See here, find program and university. Let's see. Diploma. See if, I hope this works. And how do you say engineering? So let's see, let's take the top university for engineering. See, but you can see how it works. You can select programs here and see universities, look up universities who actually offer those programs. This should always be the first thing you do. You can always, of course, reach out to the university and ask more questions, because all German universities have an international office that you can reach out to and ask your questions. And then you have to make sure that you meet all their requirements, because there are various ways to get into a German university. You may have to apply to the university, or you and hand in all the information, report cards, a CV, a language test. And then the university decides whether they will take you in or not. And so you would also have to make sure that you check all the requirements a university asks for before entering their program. See, let's see, Rick, there you go. Where was it? Plan you. See here, requirements. And that's why I love this webpage, because it gives you all the information you need. The aptitude test, it's called Test Us, German language skills, individual university entrance qualifications, and sometimes you need a visa, financial resources, because you have to prove this is connected to the visa, that you have sufficient financial resources while you're studying in Germany. And you cannot enroll into a German university if you do not have health insurance. This is also very, very important.
Sorry for the interruption. For the screen you share, we can only see one website page instead of maybe other page. Is it normal? Oh yeah, we see.
Oh, okay, because you have to. Sorry, this is the first time I use Google Meet, because we usually use Zoom or other conference calls. I was talking about. You said you saw this screen, didn't you?
Yes.
Where you get all the information about Germany and okay. Plan your studies. Here it is important that you check all the requirements, because you have to take an aptitude test. It's called Test Us. You have to show your German language skills. There are specific entry regulations, qualifications that you have to meet. Do you need a visa from Taiwan?
For tourism purpose? No.
To study?
Yes, I think so. Like studying France,
yes.
or in England, we all need the student visa.
So if somebody needs a visa, you would also have to prove that you have sufficient financial resources. And as I said, you cannot enroll into a German university unless you are you have health insurance. So this information page about about study in Germany is an excellent start, as I said, to get yourself familiar up front if you would like to study in Germany. And I was wondering if you have any questions, any specific questions that I can go into. Any specific universities?
Is it the Q&A section right now?
If you would like to ask questions, please feel free to do so.
Any questions?
About specific universities, about language requirements. I'd be happy to answer all your questions.
First of all, hello, guten Tag, or this time actually, guten Morgen. My name is Jason.
Morgen.
Guten Morgen. My name is Jason, and I have a couple questions. First of all, as I know that in German, especially in Munich, that it is recommended to study or to take more like traditional courses, to focus more on technical courses. How can I say it? Because some companies in German, they like sponsor some courses in universities, like between 20 courses in 6 months to 4 years. And my question is it efficient in German if this kind of courses instead of normal real courses?
If somebody who's close to a microphone could repeat the question, because I can, because you're somewhere in the room, it resonates, so I can hardly understand your questions. I have a sound, but I cannot understand the question because of the. If you could come to a microphone close by, or
Like this?
I cannot.
Yes.
Or if somebody could.
I think this is my speak loudly. Yes.
Oh, Ms. Kwang, I will just answer the question from the chat. If you can't speak German, you will not be able to go to a German university. You will always have to take a language test, even if the class is in English. But what you should do is you should reach out to the university that you're looking into, because if it's an English taught program, the language requirements might be lower compared to a course that is taught in German only. Because the university has the right to set its own standards. And sometimes, if it's an English taught program, you may only have to have German language skills on an intermediate level. Whereas if you go into an all German taught program, you will have to have language skills on an advanced level.
Okay, the question reads, is it better to take vocational courses rather than normal university courses?
That depends on your personal goals. Vocational training, are you looking into something like what we call a 3-year, like it's the 3-year training program where you work with a company and then you also go to school at the same time. This is what we're talking about, right?
Okay, next question.
As I said, it depends on your personal goals, but because you are already looking for a higher academic education, I think you should rather look into either a technical university or a university of applied science. The difference is a university of applied science, the actual practical part is there's much more practical work to be done, whereas a technical university focuses, you have to do internships at a technical university as well, but for the most part, it's more theoretical. So I guess you should look either into University of Applied Science. In German, it's called Hochschule or Fachhochschule, compared to a university of a technical university, such as the Technical University Munich or the Technical University in Berlin or the RWTH in Aachen. Those are typical technical universities. And the theoretical part is, there is much more focus on the theoretical part compared to the high number of internships that you have to do at a University of Applied Science. And not all German universities of applied science award PhD programs. Of course, they have master's programs, but for the most part, if you would also like to go into a PhD in the end, you would have to go to a university and not like a technical university compared to your University of University of Applied Sciences. Sorry.
I'm going to ask the second question.
Yes.
So Germany is famous for its apprenticeship. So
yes,
I would like to know, how does it work?
You apply to a company. You do not apply to a university or any kind of educational institution. Take BMW, for example. Okay. You can become a mechanic there, and you work as an apprentice for 3 years, and you go and work for a couple of weeks, and then you go to school, or you work for a couple of months, and then you go to school for a couple of weeks, then you go back into your company. And so it's a back and forth between practical training and theoretical training at a school. And the school that you have to go to is called Berufsschule. And the program usually runs for 3 years. But if you do this apprenticeship, it's not a degree of higher education that you receive. But this is a program that Germany is world famous for. So a lot of students decide to do this instead of going to a university. Students who have a high school degree that you receive after 12 years in Germany usually go to university. But if you would like to do an apprenticeship with BMW, for example, you can do so after 10 years of school. And sorry, just to finish this up, you have to be fluent in German to do so. To do an apprenticeship, you have to be fluent in German because there are no English taught programs.
Okay, thank you for your answering. And I think my part is done. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Let's see. Some students just asked if this is a good time to study in Germany, considering the pandemic. I was hoping you wouldn't ask. Yes. Well, Germany is in a situation right now where the numbers are higher compared to the numbers we had this spring. They are by far not as high as in neighboring countries. And you may have heard in the press that we are currently in a so-called light lockdown. So universities do blended learning and online courses. If you have to do your lab work, for the most part, you can do your lab work. Schools are open, kindergartens are open, retailers are open, and the industrial complex is open. And they closed down theaters, movie theaters, restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. And though the number is still rising, it's not rising as exponentially as it used to a week or two ago. This morning, we had 21,000 new infections. And if this continues, we will still be closing down or keeping bars, restaurants, theaters, etc. Closed in December. And you're not allowed to assemble in large numbers. You have to wear your masks and keep your social distancing. And but of course, we did not get through the pandemic nearly as good as Taiwan did. Taiwan is, next to South Korea, one of the role models, and a country that we have a look at and how you deal with the pandemic in particular. So Germany, even if we got better through the pandemic compared to other countries like the US and UK and France and Spain, we're still very much looking at countries like Taiwan and South Korea and how you coped with the pandemic. But I think we'll be doing okay because the majority of Germans stick to the rules and regulations. You have to wear a mask, you have to do your social distancing. And of course, we're all looking forward to the, hopefully, to the vaccine. So I wanted to look this up because I'm not quite sure if Taiwan is on the list of risk areas. So if, for example, if you are from Spain or if you're from the UK, from the US or somewhere in South America, you have to quarantine. If you come to Germany, you have to quarantine for 10 days. And you can also, you can only get out of quarantine if you do a CPR test after day 5. And if this is negative, then you can leave your quarantine. If not, you have to remain in quarantine. And we do approximately 1.4, 1.5 million tests per week. But of course, we're all looking forward to having a vaccine. And if everything works all right, you may have heard about this in the press, the vaccine by BioNTech/Pfizer most likely will be available next spring. And it'll take about 4 or 5 months to get everybody in Germany vaccinated. So if you would like to come to Germany now, you would have to quarantine. And you would also have to have a look at the university that you're interested in, whether they do online classes, blended learning, so partly in class, partly online, or because no university does in-person classes only right now. So maybe you should wait a little bit and see how the situation evolves over the winter and springtime.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Uta, for your presentation. I found it very informative. I've been to Germany many times, but I still learned a lot from your presentation. And thank you for sharing the current events and current climate of Germany and the EU with us. It's very special for our students to hear someone direct from Germany give a talk like this, so I would really like to thank you for your time and effort today to talk to all of us, and maybe we can do another one next semester because I think our students found it very enlightening.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. I have to excuse the technical problems here and there that we have, and if anybody needs to know anything in particular, any specific details, you're more than welcome to reach out to me.
Okay, we will give them that information. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
And enjoy the afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.